What's going on, guys? It's Wahoot, and today is November the 16th, 2016. I'm happy to announce that Nexon has just released its beta testing for its new graphics engine. I know a lot of questions still surround what type of graphics card and computer you guys need in order to run this game without any lag. And I'm here to let you know that the required specs are pretty high. Just to start off, the minimum required system is something that runs on an i5 3470, so a 3rd gen i5, with at least 8 gigs of RAM. The graphics card is going to require something like a GTX 650 Ti or a Radeon HD 6970, and that's only really running the game at kind of medium or low settings. In order to get really nice frame rates and nice gameplay, you probably have to be running an i7 4th gen 4.0 with the same thing with 8 gigs of RAM, a GTX 970 or an R9 290X or better. Now, for those of us who are not running on one of these top-end video cards, we're still able to turn down the graphics settings or revert back to the old graphics before you actually enter the game, so that's still an added plus. Now keep in mind, most CA players probably don't run on such a higher end gaming computer. Now granted, the GTX 970 is kind of like the benchmark of the gaming industry, where if you want to get into some more serious competitive gaming, the GTX 70 is one of those cards. However, I don't believe that most CA players actually have such a high tier card. That being said, my main concern is that the majority of CA players will not have such a nice system in order to play these new graphics. Most of us were kind of spoiled by being able to play the original Combat Arms on a lower end computer and having decent gameplay. If you're one of these new players, you might just be out of luck when this game goes live with these graphics, because you're probably going to end up spending $200–300 in order to get a graphics card that can handle these new system requirements. Now, we all probably know that last week Nexon did run a live broadcast where NX Aris and NX Coyote went through some of these new graphics features, and to be honest, I thought they were really cool. New things such as dynamic lighting and shadows, shadow mapping, shadow map filtering, omnidirectional shadow mapping are just some of the new features that have been added into the new graphics. And to be honest, these new features add a whole new level of player immersion to the Combat Arms experience. At first, I was really concerned that these new features would make competitive gaming even more difficult, since this was just really an enhancement of the old Jupiter engine, and with the introduction of these new visuals, it would be harder to see and detect the enemy. But after spending a little bit of time in the game, I feel like it's not really an issue. I don't know if you guys have noticed in the gameplay, but it appears that the enemy characters have some sort of golden glow to them, which makes them just as easily detectable as they were in the old settings. For right now, I'm actually running the game on medium settings with an older AMD mid-tier gaming card, so I'm not able to see what all the graphics are able to do, but hopefully in the future I'm able to upgrade my rig to something like a 1070, so that I'll be able to take advantage of all of the ultra high settings and see what this whole experience is all about. But even at medium settings, the graphics look really stunning, and I really can't wait to see what the ultra high settings will be in store. I hope some of you guys out there are able to run this game at ultra high settings and get really good frame rate. But for right now, I'm only stuck with this, so hopefully in the future that changes. Let's face it, it's 2016, and if you're running a rig that's 5 or 10 years old, it's time to upgrade. Sure, there can be more and better tweaks and adjustments that Nexon will probably make for systems optimization, which will probably allow our computers to run CA even more efficiently with these new graphics, but for now, it's a pretty darn good first step in giving CA a desperately needed facelift. Now, I know a lot of players out there are probably wondering when other things like game balance and map clipping will eventually finalize, and I had those same questions too. CA is in desperate need to establish more balance for competitive play, and even though the graphics make the maps look a lot cooler, the finalization of map clipping needs to be one of the top priorities in the near future. It just gets really old walking downstairs and literally losing half your life. But hopefully that's not a concern in the near future when all this is completed. And for right now, for all those who can run the new graphics, let's all sit back and enjoy the eye candy. Until next time, it's Wahoot, and I'm out.